Okay, this is such a blurry, oh my God. Okay, this is a really blurry screen. I apologize. I am going live for the first time on this channel. It is 8 a.m. on, is it Thursday? Thursday, August 4th. And the summer has just been flying by. There's been so much going on, so much that I haven't been doing. And I'm just kind of like flying by the seat of my pants with this live because I'm really sorry for like the totally bad picture here. Like I have like the worst webcam ever. I'm not set up for live streaming, but I wanted to go live because I wanted to just make it like a natural interaction, just a natural conversation. But thank you. Welcome to my channel. Don't want to spend too much time on here because this is part one. I did want to talk a little bit about the book and like the book Baby, the release, and want to make sure that I get this done before baby wakes up. So, okay, here we go. So back in 2003, it was after mom died. It was after a really tough year for our family. I was working at a call center at a security firm, and I was taking calls in. It was a really dead day, and I started doodling because I was just doing my thing. Just kind of waiting for calls in. It was a dead day, just doodling to kind of just get my mind going, and images came. That is how this started. So I released a book earlier this year. I spent a lot of time on it. There's a lot of time in between, and that wasn't a lot of time spent on it, but it has come to fruition this year. The end of last year, beginning of this year, with a lot of revisions, and it is now out there in the world. And I didn't do like a big, I know this is like my first real release, my big release. I didn't do a reveal, like a pre-release. I didn't do any of that. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that happened, a lot of stuff. But so back in 2003, when I didn't realize any of this was going to happen, I didn't think anything was going to happen. Back in 2003, when I was doodling, it just became something. Images kept coming. And I've always written, I've always drawn. I got that from my mother. And it's kind of when everything kind of started for me. It's kind of when everything kind of just blossomed for me. And how when I was drawing, it became therapeutic. When I was drawing, it became more than just an image. When I was drawing, it became more than just like lines on a page. There was always something involved in it. There was always some sort of passion. There was some reason of why I was drawing, why I was writing. And then when these images came, it was one image, and then two, and then a name came up, and then two names came up, and then more images came. I'm not going to show you the first images. I have an entire box. I will be showing you images throughout the stream, and I will be showing you images in the next part. But there is a box and binders of drawings from this world that I've created. And it is called Jungle PALS. The main character, my hero, is Lenny, little leopard. I'm very happy to say that after all those years, it has finally come to the light. So I'm going to show you a couple of the doodles. I don't know if you can see them. Couple of doodles. So no, the main characters are not on here, but this is how it was starting, like just little things here and there. This is how it was starting. And again, I'm not going to show you the originals right now, but that'll come later. And then I did a couple of these. I don't know if you can see that. You probably can't. It's really blurry. I'm sorry. I mean, I'll do another stream, but you can see that there is a leopard that has come. And then I'm going to show you this, one of the originals. I don't know if you can see that. My God, this is horrid. Like the image is horrid. Like, or the picture quality is horrid. Video quality, not the picture quality, video quality. So just more doodling, and then the words collided. I just could picture and I could hear all the colors. I could hear, oh, I didn't hear the colors. I could see the colors. I could hear the sounds. I could hear the conversation. I could understand the story or stories. I saw a little leopard cub. I don't know why it was a leopard cub. I really don't know why. I drew a lot of animals when I was younger. I drew a lot of more horses than anything else. That's a whole other thing. Horses I drew a lot of. Disney characters I drew a lot of. People I drew a lot of portraits. I drew everything was black and white though. I didn't do a lot of color. A lot of black and white pencils. Sorry, I just got a little. There you go. Oh, sorry, I got a message that came up. Got to escape that. So the leopard kind of came. Dogs were another one thing. I drew a lot of Dalmatians. A lot of Dalmatians. Really weird. 101 Dalmatians is my favorite movie, but it's a whole other thing. So I don't know why it became a leopard. He just came and he wouldn't leave, and that's okay. Lenny has been, and Lenny the leopard just seemed to work. It was 2003, so I was 19 at the time. And like, I don't really have a rhyme or reason for it. It just seemed to work for me. So I just went with it. And then something else, his sidekick, there is a sidekick. The sidekick came in, and his name is Benny. You meet him in the first book. And he was just like an awkward, and I'll show you pictures later. He was like an awkward image of a bird. It wasn't, but he was lifelike and vibrant and just like so animated. There was so much energy about him, and he kind of draws that out in Lenny. And his color was black. His beak was red. Those are the two things. Those two main things that I had: black bird, red. And I was like, what bird in the world looks like that? What bird in the world? So I had to do a lot of research. I'm like, I can't just make him out to be some like odd looking crossbreed of a bird. Like I don't even think that's even possible. Maybe it's probably possible, but I didn't at that time. I'm like, no, I need to. But then like at that time, I'm like, I need to know what that is. But also I'm like, why does it really matter? I didn't know if I was going to make anything of it. At the very beginning, I didn't know what I was going to make, but I knew I wanted to do something with it. I knew it was something for me. So I was just drawing. I just drew. Lenny and Benny became a pair. And why did I name him Benny? It was more of Lenny the leopard, Benny the bird. Like that's how that worked for me. And Lenny and Benny matched. Like it was just a really big flow. It was like a hard stop. Like it wasn't going to go anywhere. Like there's no changing that. Like that pairing was always going to be there. And then their friends came, and their names came, and it was I had to make sure that their names really rolled with their character, really rolled with their their species. So with Luca Gorilla and Franny Flamingo and Jerry the Bobcat and Mac the Zebra. I don't know how these names came. They just came. Like for me, it's always the image, and then the name comes after. It's really hard for me to draw anything that like when I have a name, it's hard for me to bring the image to. I've done it before. It's harder that way. So usually for me, it's the image first, and then the name comes. I've done that for my novels as well. But yeah, so I kept drawing and drawing, and I did write the next year. I did I put the words together, and I was an amateur writer. I didn't really know much of anything. I just put words together. Did they look good? Did they sound good to me? Yes, they did. Of course, they sound good to me. Did they, I don't know, sound good to an agent? Well, I did send it off to an agency in 2005, I think. And I'm not gonna. It's local in Calgary, but I'm not going to say the name. What I did get back, and I'm sure I have the letter somewhere. I've kept everything. I'm sure I have the letter somewhere, and it said, "This is like there are so many things I want to. There are so many things I want to change. Something like that. You need to have X, Y, Z. It doesn't really flow, or like I don't know if this is going to be something that other people want to have or buy or whatever. Like it was just it was almost." It was almost like there was a compliment. It's like it's a nice story, but like it's like a sandwich compliment, like you do the compliment, the insult, and the compliment at the end. Like it was just, and then she also wanted to charge me, or they wanted to charge me $180 to read it. I'm like, okay, and I understand that there are fees now. But like when I was younger, I'm like, fuck that, blah blah. So and that was the only one I sent it to. And then there was Author House, and I sent it to, I think there was Dorrance Publishing as well. And it was just, there was money that was spent. I wasn't really that committed. Self-publishing really was not a thing back then. And I also hadn't completed the drawings yet. I hadn't published the drawings. I hadn't formulated it into a professional look yet. Again, I was very, very amateur. I didn't really know anything. I was a kid. I was a complete kid, and I didn't have really any guidance. I didn't have any connections, and I just kind of left it. It just kind of stayed in the vault. I wrote it for me. I drew for me. I drew them. I brought them out whenever I was like I needed some inspiration. I would draw them out, and then I discovered Fiverr. Fiverr is a freelance company that was, I think, was established in 2010. So way past when this first came to fruition. Like first became like the idea. And then I'm going to say like I published it. I published it before it actually came out because the drawings were there. The words came. I just hadn't put everything together and then pushed it out. So, the concept, everything was there. Everything was done. I just couldn't bring it forth. And then I discovered Fiverr on another publishing site. I discovered Fiverr and a publishing site, another AuthorTube. And when I looked into it, because I had my drawings. I'm going to show you. Again, this is part 1. So there's going to be more stuff happening. So this is the story. I don't know if you can see that. Again, this is horrible. July 2004. This is the original when I first printed it out. It is 2022. So it took a while. But the entire story is here. Very happy about it. And I love being able to see this, knowing that I wrote this so long ago and I still have the paper of when I first printed it out. It is crumbly. There's like food on it, all this kind of stuff. I've moved it around. And then these are some of the original drawings that I did. And I was like able to repeat, like some of the originals, I was able to repeat. Again, you can't see it. I'm going to do another clear shot. So not all of them, but so some of the images that came. And some of these are repeats from earlier drafts of the drawing. So these are like quick doodles of the story. I was kind of just writing through and like, hey, you know what? Like instead of me going through all of the original, like the first pages, I'm going to redo them from memory and then kind of just like read the story and do that. And that's what I did. I obviously when I compared them, they're very similar from the originals to now. And also there's a little bit more details in the more recent ones. But so when I found Fiverr, because I wanted those drawings, I wanted those published. And I know that those are completely rough around the edges. They weren't pristine. And they weren't supposed to be. I mean, like they're just doodles and doodles that were really important to me. But I wasn't a professional. You know, we all want to be able to do everything and we can't. Like, I needed to let go of my ego and I looked into Fiverr because I knew that there was like, there were like you could do book trailers, you could do advertising, you could do obviously book covers, you could do drawings, like illustrations, things like that, like website design, all of that stuff. All those freelance stuff is in Fiverr. And I think that like, it's a fabulous service. And no, this is not sponsored by Fiverr. And I apologize if you can't hear me, I have to do this all again. But if you are watching, if you can't hear me, send me a 1. Put a 1 in the chat. So when I looked onto it, the illustrator and I that paired up, this is the 3rd illustrator that I found that I worked with, because the first 2 just did not cut it for me. And because I was so invested in the drawings and I knew exactly what the image was, and I knew that this is going to be a series. Every character was going to have its own book. I've already got the first 3 done. And I'm working, like I'm fine tuning the second one again, and then just pushing it off to my illustrator so that he can start putting the pictures together, the images together. I was so in tune with how the world looked and how the series went. I wasn't going to take less, and it was already so long, like I've already waited so long that I'm not going to just kind of just let it get out there. Like it needed to be perfect. And some of the first renditions. This is from just one of them, because the other guy I was like, no. The second guy I just cut right off, and I just said, no, that's not gonna work for me. So this was the first rendition of some of the drawings from the first artist. I'm gonna say artist. If you see some of these, like, they're very similar, because I sent all of these drawings, all of these images, I sent into Fiverr. I sent it to the illustrator that I wanted to work with, or I was interested in working with. And I said, these drawings have to be, the illustrations have to look like these. If they don't look like this, if it doesn't cross this threshold, then, or if this doesn't fall on par with what I'm looking at, if it doesn't match, then it's a no-go. Because, like, and of course I'm going to give you some creative latitude because you have a little bit more experience with it than I do. However, if it doesn't match my images on, like, majority of fronts, on the way they look, the way they act, the way they portray on the page, versus how they're portrayed in my head and on, like, in the written word, if it doesn't match, this relationship is over. And I have to be cutthroat about it because it's important to me. It is my job. It is my business. It's my story. And I applaud anyone who stands up for their work. You have to stand up for your work. And I was just not taking no for an answer. So they're very similar to, let's see. I'll just do one of these. Okay. Here is, okay, so this is my original. One of my originals that I sent over. Everyone's cheering, everyone's happy, running around the bases. Everyone's cheering, everyone's happy, like things are happening. Okay. So very close. Very close. I'm like, all right. Obviously I wasn't giving him like a full hard pass. Like, there was no way that was happening. But oh, did I miss something? I think I forgot something. Shit. Oh wait, no, I have it. So I didn't give him a hard pass. Then I was scrolling through the internet and just scrolling through some drawings because I wanted to, like, pinpoint about, like, how I wanted something to look. And I'm like, this doesn't look right to me. All of these images, all of these, and I actually, like, I went over it, like, with a fine tooth comb. Like, I'm like in red. I'm like, no, this has to be changed. And I didn't like the bubbled shit over here. Like, it was ridiculous. So, but when I went online to look at something to clarify, I'm like, this doesn't look right. I found all of these images spread out online. These were images taken from the internet. These weren't even this guy's original design. These weren't from, like, his idea. This wasn't his shit by any means. And I was pissed. Like, I was pissed. I had my girlfriend check it out. I asked her to look for this character, like the hippo and all this kind of stuff. And she came back with, like, I did a side-by-side with stuff that I looked at, the stuff that she looked at, and we put them all together. And I was just like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I paid this guy like 300 and something bucks. So I sent it back to him and he didn't even respond. I said, look, this is from the internet. This is not acceptable, blah, 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 blah. There was no response. The only response was that the money was refunded back to my account. All of it was refunded to the account. So he fucked up. He knows he fucked up. And I was speechless. I was so pissed off. I was just angry, like super, super angry. And that was number one. And then, of course, I was like a little gun shy with number two. And then, but I was very, very quick on the second one when they came back with something and I couldn't. I have an image somewhere. It wasn't even long. It wasn't even a long enough relationship to even care. So it was closer, very much closer to what I wanted. It just wasn't there yet. So I just said, no, I just forgot it. I just like, nope. And then the third one with Musam, he came back and instantly when he came back with the black and white drawings that he did compared to mine, and I don't have those here, but I'll show him the next one. He came back. It was crystal clear that this was the perfect match. He knew what I wanted. He saw my images. He read the story. Like, he actually had the story, read it, and he was like, okay, this is what I see. This is what you have. This is what I see. These are the words. Let's put this together. And he came back with drafts first. So he would come back with the black and whites that matched these, like black and whites that matched this, similar to this. And then I would go through it with a fine-tooth comb, and I would be like, okay, this looks good. This looks good. I don't like this. Can you add more of this? I need it to look like this. I need more vines. Can you take this out? I love this. Like, it was back and forth. And before he would go into color, we would go back and forth until I would say, A-okay. And then even if it came back in color and it didn't look right to me, he would go back and change it. Even after the whole scenario was done, he would go back and change things if I wanted it to. And that was an amazing relationship, because I was able to go through everything. I was able to read the story again, match it with the drawings, match it with his drawings, and then be like, you know what? Okay, like, you like that image that you have of the character is similar to mine, but a little bit different. I don't mind this at all. Like, okay, let's keep it like that. That's a little bit of a different dynamic. I like that. Okay. So there was creative latitude that I gave him. But you have to be able to relinquish a little bit of your control. So that's what I did. And I was very proud of that. I was very proud of, because I'm stubborn, I was very proud of my allowance to just let it go. And we came back with covers. We came back with back covers. Again, this is all very, very new to me. And then he would come back with, like, just this before the drawings came. So, and I would cut all these out. I'm not going to show every one of them. So these are some of the originals, and this guy has changed. Gramps has changed just a little bit, so he's not as round. Oops, this was upside down. And then there's some of them. Just some of the back pages. So I was very happy. I was very happy with that. And I've been emotional about certain things. I'm going to show my favorite images. So, like, things like that. And then he knew, like, he could visualize where the words were going to be. And because he's done books before, I have not done books before. And I've read a lot of books. I've never worked with anyone to do books with. And we have a long-lasting relationship coming, so I'm very excited about it. And it was really neat to see someone else's vision. It was really neat to have a partnership like that and work well with someone to make a finished product. So when this first came, so we put it all together. I put it on Amazon so I could print it off. And so this was my author copy. And I noticed that there were some formatting issues. Like, this is my favorite image from the book. Like, one of my favorite images. Like, it was just like, that's one of my favorite images. It just has so much. And there's our friend right there. There's our sidekick. That there was just so much facial expression. There's so much character in his images, and putting the words together. When I saw it coming through, like, I was able to look at the formatting and making sure that the words looked right. And then I noticed that, okay, well, we have some editing to do, because there's an extra word here, there's a comma here, I don't know what the hell happened. So and sometimes that works, or it's like it just kind of bleeds over. So can we just narrow it down a little bit? And that's how it worked. And it came back, and then I had some Amazon experience where when you print, or when you do live render, set up for a live or a pre-order, and then you take it down, especially with an ebook, it doesn't allow you to go forward, it doesn't allow you to go forward to another pre-sale. You have to unpublish and delete things, and there's a whole scenario. So I had to change a couple of things with my ISBN in order for me to relaunch the book and relaunch the ebook. And my publisher, my illustrator, and I were able to work together and get some of that done and clear that up. And now it is finished. It is a finished product, and I'm very, very happy, and I'm very proud of it. And I'm very happy that I can have it go out into the world for all the littles. It's for like 0 to 8 years, but you know what? I think everyone can read it. I envision multiple books. Obviously, it's a multiple book series, at least 10. Right now, the first 3 are moving, but every character has their story, and I think after that, it'll just be regular stories after that. Not regular stories, but it'll just be group stories after that. In every book, everyone is involved in something. So every book is featured around basically one character, but all the characters are involved in every story. And I can picture the series moving. I can picture a Netflix series. I can picture a movie. I just love jungle animals. They're fun to draw. They're fun to create. They're fun to talk about. They're fun to move around with, like interact with each other. And like it's very green in regards to like it's very leafy. Like you're actually in the jungle. And I'm just trying to picture like who would play them in, like who do the voices. I can picture so many people doing the voices. And yes, I can picture Johnny Depp doing the voices. I wasn't sure I was going to say that, but I pictured Johnny Depp doing one of the voices, or a couple. And then like in the movie, when I see the movie, there is a character that I know who could be the villain. And there is a villain, like in the stories of the images that I've drawn in the binders, and I'll show you those later. There is a villain, because every story should have a villain, or like an antagonist anyway. I have his name, everything's done. And it's been a really thrilling experience to get this whole thing done. And I'm like, I know it took nearly 2 decades, 2 decades to get it through, but I think everything happens for a reason. And, I obviously have another novel. I have a couple of novels that I'm working on. I have one novel called Whatever Happens that should have been out a long time ago, but and I have some other things to talk about. But this book there's a time and place for everything, and I think that this was the time that Jungle PALS needed to come out. So this is book 1. This is part 1 about book 1, and I'm so excited and thrilled to share it with everybody. And I hope that you are excited, or that you will have it in your heart to choose a new story to add to the roster for your the littles in your life, and they can enjoy some fun with Lenny and his pals too, and just play a little bit of kickball. But I'm just thrilled. Like the images are just luscious and delicious, and just bright and just fun, and it's warm, and just the story is. I didn't even tell you what the story's about. I didn't even tell you this whole time. I didn't even tell you what the story's about. So the story is about the first one is about a leopard cub named Lenny. If you didn't get that one yet, named Lenny. He is starting at a brand new school. He lives with his gramps, and he has a little trepidation. It's hard to it's hard to make friends. It's hard to go into a brand new place, especially if you don't know anybody. And it's his journey through that adventure in itself. It's his journey through believing in himself. It's his journey about, starting to find who he is, and starting to let loose a little bit, and starting to trust that scary isn't always bad. And making new friends isn't always bad. And knowing that if you believe in yourself just a little bit, good things can happen. So that's the premise. That's the premise of the story. And then obviously the introduction of the majority of the characters get in there too. So, he finds out that, again, it's not so bad. It's not so bad. So, believe in yourself, and tough situations can have its own reward. So very excited. I'm looking forward to seeing how everyone else enjoys it. And even if not, if it's just, if it just sits there, I hope it doesn't, but if it just sits there, I know that it's finished. I know that it's out there. I know that it's available for everyone and anyone. And I know that it will lift the spirits of many. It will lift the spirits of many, because it is an adorable story. And I know that every writer probably says about all the work that they do, but I do believe in it wholeheartedly. And I do hope that many people enjoy Lenny and his friends, Jungle PALS. now available on Amazon for you guys. So let me know if you do grab your copy. Let me know in the comments below, or send a review, or email me, message me, let me know how you like it. But yeah, I would love to know what you think. So that is part 1. I will get into more of the details of how it originated and more of the drawings and the world building in another video. But thank you guys. Have a beautiful, beautiful day, and we'll catch up with you soon. Bye.